Hey guys, welcome to my channel 𝙎𝙪𝙣𝙨. I'm your host Wazahat, and today I'm gonna show you how to create 2D games in a 3D game engine without writing a single line of code. So the game engine we are going to use is Coppercube 6, which is completely free to download from its official website 𝙎𝙪𝙣𝙣𝙣 as well as from Steam. There is also a studio and a professional edition available to purchase for some additional features like post-processing effects, custom loading screen, Android source code, etc. And the game assets we are going to use is Sunnyland, which is created by an artist named 𝙎𝙪𝙣𝙣𝙣. These assets are also free to download from 𝙎𝙪𝙣𝙣𝙣. I will provide the link for both the game engine and the game assets in the description down below. Assuming that you had already downloaded and installed the game engine to your computer and had already downloaded the game assets files, now go to your assets files and extract it somewhere on your desktop. Here are the extracted files. Go to PNG. We are going to use PNG textures only, which will contain environment, sprites, and sprite sheets. We are not going to use sprite sheets. Sprites will have your collectibles, enemies, and player. Environment will have your environment props like big crate, house, tree, spikes, etc. And there is also an environment preview image. We are going to use this image as a reference for our game level. Now go to Coppercube editor and open it. Click OK. So this is how your editor will look like. Let me give you a brief introduction about the graphical user interface. This is our 3D viewport here. You can move, rotate, pan, zoom in and zoom out. Use the arrow keys to move around the object in your scene. This is our scene graph explorer, which will contain all the scene nodes we are going to add in our game. This is our properties panel, which has 3 tabs: attributes, materials, and behavior. This attributes tab will contain general and item specific properties. And materials tab will have lightning properties, texture, and material type. You can add new behavior and actions from this behavior tab. This is our root scene node, which will contain additional properties like gravity, fog, wind, and real-time shadows. This is our prefabs window here, which contains 3D animated and static objects and skyboxes, billboards, particles, which comes pre-built with the editor. And here we have our texture panel, which holds all the textures we are going to add into our scene. From here you can change the view type of the 3D viewport from perspective to top, to front, to left. And from here you can move, rotate, and scale the object. You can also create and add new objects to your scene from here, which is like you can create a cube, a sphere, a cylinder, a cone, add a camera, etc. And from here you can publish your game to Windows, WebGL, macOS, and Android APK. So that's all about the graphical user interface. Now what we are going to do is we are going to delete this default cube mesh and the startup skybox. And now we are going to create our character first. To create our character, we need to import all the character sprites into the editor. To add the character sprites, just click this add button here. Navigate to your desktop where we have extracted our game assets file. Go to Sunnyland files, click on Sunnyland files again, go to PNG, then sprites, then player. These are 6 different player animations, which is climb, crouch, hurt, idle, jump, and run. Select any of the folder. I'm going to select idle and select all the idle sprites and click open. So as soon as you click open, you notice that all the sprites will appear here in the texture panel. This is our frame 1 for the idle animation. This is our frame 2 for the idle animation. This is our frame 3 and frame 4. Now we are going to create a plane mesh. Also note down this resolution here, which is 33 by 32. Now we are going to create a plane mesh with tile count of 1, width of 33 by 32, which is our resolution here, and we are going to use a repeat texture count of 0.98. Why 0.98? Let me just tell you. Suppose if we have repeat texture count of 1, and if I click OK, and if I apply the texture, and if I change the texture material type to transparent alpha channel, then you will notice this gray line here. To get rid of this gray line, we have to use a value of 0.98 or 0.99 for the repeat texture count while creating the plane mesh. So let me just delete it and create a new plane mesh with tile count of 1, width of 33 by 32, which is our resolution here, and with a repeat texture count of 0.98. And if I click OK now and apply the texture, change the material type to transparent alpha channel, so the gray lines are gone. So that's it. Just select the plane mesh, go to attributes, rename this plane mesh to player, and switch to front view. Now you will notice that we are not able to see our plane mesh in the front view because it is lying horizontally. We want our character to appear vertically here. So to do that, what we are going to do is we are going to rotate it 90 degrees on the x-axis, but our character is flipped now. So to solve this, we are going to rotate 180 degrees on the z-axis. Okay, now we are going to clone this player mesh for 6 times because we know that our character has 6 different animations. Let me just clone it for 6 different times. First, before cloning, I want to change the material to go to advanced setting, double-sided material and anisotropic filtering on. Click OK, and now clone this. To clone this, right click on this node, select clone. You can also use Ctrl C. I'm going to rename it to idle and going to clone it for 5 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to rename it to run and jump, crouch, climb, and hurt. So these are our 6 animations. Now select these 6 animation and drag and drop them to player. So that they will become children of this player mesh. But you might notice something, that now they all are lying horizontally. So to solve this, we are going to remove their rotation. We are going to remove rotation for all these 6 animation. Quickly do this. Alright, so now all of our animations are in vertical position here in the 3D viewport. Now what we are going to do is we are going to apply animations to all these nodes. First we are going to apply idle animation. Go to behavior tab of the idle, then click effect behaviors, animate a texture, select time per frame is equal to 100, hit enter, go to texture, scroll to right, and we have our 4 idle animation sprites here. This is our frame 1, frame 2, frame 3 and frame 4. We are going to select frame first and click OK. Scroll down, then select frame 2 and click OK. Then select frame 3 and click OK. Then frame 4. We are going to do the same thing for run, jump, crouch, climb and 𝙎𝙪𝙢. But as we can see, we are not imported our character sprites for run, jump, crouch, climb and 𝙎𝙪𝙢 animation. So what we are going to do now is we are going to import all the character sprites here. To import, I am clicking this add button, navigate to your player sprites. First I'm going to import climb, which has 3 animation frames. Click open. I'm gonna add crouch, which has 2 animation frames, and click open. Then 𝙬𝙧, which has 2 animation frame, then jump, then run. So run has 6 different animation frames, and click open. So now we have our climb animation, crouch animation, 𝙬𝙧 animation, idle animation, jump animation and run animation. Now apply these animation frames to scene nodes. Go to run, click this plus button here, go to effect behaviors, go to animate a texture, time per frame is equal to 100, go to texture, scroll to right, select first frame of the run animation. This is our first frame. Then select second frame, and then third, then fourth, and so on. Now the sixth animation. Alright, so we have our idle animation and run animation. Apply to the idle and run scene node. Now we are going to do the same for jump, crouch, climb and 𝙬𝙧. Click this plus button, go to effect behaviors, animate a texture. For the jump scene node, I'm going to leave it to 200 because we are going to adjust this time per frame value as per the speed, or you may say jump speed of our character. So I'm leaving it to the default value 200 for now, and go to texture, go to first frame of the jump, scroll down, then go to second frame of the jump, click OK. Do the same for crouch, animate a texture, time per frame is equal to 100, change the texture to frame 1 and then frame 2. Go to climb, click this plus button, effect behaviors, animate a texture, 100, select first frame of our climb animation, then second frame of our climb animation, then third frame, and the last one, hurt animation. Effect behaviors, animate a texture, 100. This is our first animation for the hurt. This is our second animation frame for the hurt. So we have our 6 animations applied to the 6 animation scene nodes. Now we want to hide this player and want to make it transparent. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import a black image here. I have created it in Microsoft Paint. You can create it in Paint or just download it from internet. So I'm gonna apply it and go to select player and materials tab, then change the material type from transparent alpha channel to transparent add. So now it is transparent, but our idle, run, jump, crouch, climb and hurt animation are showing at the same time. What we are going to do is we are going to make them invisible. Select hurt, make it invisible, select climb, make it invisible, select crouch, make it invisible, select jump, make it invisible, select run, make it invisible. To make them invisible, you have to just uncheck this visibility button in the attributes. Go to idle and leave it here. We are not going to hide the idle animation yet because we want to see our player movement. So select your player mesh and go to behavior, then click this plus button and attach this collide when moved behavior. Now you will see a yellow ellipsoid around your object or player mesh. Adjust its size. Let me just change it to 10 and this to -5. Oops, 5. All right. So this ellipsoid will collide with the world when the character is moved. Okay. So we have our character here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to import our reference level image here. So navigate to your desktop where you have your game assets, go to Sunnyland files again, png, then environment and select environment preview.png. Click open and now we have our environment preview image here. Note down its resolution, which is 1456 by 464. Now we are going to create another plane mesh with tile count of 1, width of 1456 and length of 464 with a repeat texture count of 0.98 and click OK. Now rename this to world dummy and rotate it 90 degree on the x-axis. 90 degree on the x-axis and 180 degree on the z-axis and apply this texture here and change this world dummy position to 0. So now we have our world reference image imported and our player character. Now just move this player character here so that it will look good. Alright, now what we want to do is we want to make this character move. To make this character move, select the player, go to its behavior tab and go to scripted behavior and select this simple 2D jump and run player. You might not see this behavior here because you have to download it from 𝙎𝙪𝙢𝙪's official website. To download it, go to Coppercube website, go to download section and then scroll down and select this download Coppercube extension, then go to behaviors tab, behaviors window and download this behavior 2D jump and run. Now scroll down and here are the instructions how to use these behaviors. You have to extract and move the contents of the zip file to your My Documents and then Coppercube, then extensions directory. Then you will be able to see those downloaded extensions by going here in the scripted behaviors and then select the simple 2D jump and run player, and I'm going to use speed of 1 and jump speed of 0.4 and jump length of 400. So if I preview or test this as a Windows application by clicking here, then there is a problem. I am unable to see the environment. Fix that, you need to select this world dummy here, go to its material tab and go to advanced setting of materials type, then turn double-sided material and anisotropic filtering on. Now if I hit this play button, then we have our character and environment preview image, but you will notice that our character is not moving correctly. This is because we have collision enabled for children nodes. So to fix the issue, we need to disable the collision for the children nodes of player scene node. So let me just quickly disable the collision for all the scene nodes. First select idle, then disable the collision, then select run, disable the collision, jump, disable the collision, crouch, disable the collision, climb, disable the collision, hurt, and disable the collision. Now if I publish the game as Windows exe, then our player should fall down. So our character disappeared because it fell down, but it is still colliding with this world dummy and we don't want our player to collide with this world dummy. So select this world dummy and disable collision for this world dummy as well. Now if I hit, first let me go to perspective mode Then all right, so if I test this as Windows application, then it will render from here. Okay, if I click this play button, then our character fall down. All right, now we want our character to stay here. To make our character stay here, we need to add platforms. Create platforms, go to create here, and then click create a cube. I'm going to create a cube with the default value, change its position to 0, move it a little bit up here, switch to front view, and scale it on the x-axis. And move it. All right. So we have created a platform for our character to stand on. But we don't want this platform to be visible in our game. To make this transparent, select this black texture and apply it to the cube. Go to Materials tab. Now if I go to this Material tab here and change this to Transparent Add, so our cube mesh is now transparent. And if I just hit this play button, then we have some issue here that our character is not visible properly. So to fix that issue, select this world dummy and change its position to something like -10. Okay, so that it will move further from our player and will not appear in front of the player. So if I click this play button, then our character is visible perfectly, and it's jumping and is also moving. But still there is a problem, which is if I press the right cursor key, right arrow key, then the player is moving in the opposite direction, which is left direction. And if I press the left cursor key, then it is moving in right direction. Also, you can see that the camera is also moving, and we don't want it. To fix this, we have to create a camera first. Create a camera, go to this create tab and click this create a camera and add a simple camera. Now go to perspective mode so that you can move the camera around and just drag it there. And if I hit Ctrl F10, all right, camera is not moving, but the player is still moving in the opposite direction. Now let me just quickly fix it. Switch to front view, select the player and add rotation on y-axis 180 degrees. So it will flip the character, and if I check now, still the character is moving awkwardly. If I press the right key, the character is moving in the left direction. If I press the left key, it is moving in that direction. So basically the movement is inverted. Let me just fix it. So what we need to do is, we are not going to use the front view for our game. We are going to use the back view. To switch to back view, go to view tab here, change viewport type to back, and now we are not able to see our character. Fix this, we have to select this world dummy and change this -10 to 10. Alright, and we also need to move our camera on this side of the environment preview image. Now if I hit play key, alright, our character is moving perfectly. It is jumping and moving perfectly. So now we are going to apply the animation to the movement. For example, if our character is moving, then the run animation should be played, and if the character is jumping, then the jump animation should be played. So what we are going to do is, first of all, we are going to select this root scene node and go to behavior, then click this add new behavior, and before first drawing, do something. This behavior is only available for the root scene node. It is not available for any of the scene node you add to your scene. This is exclusive to the root scene node. Check this also on reload. Go to action, and we are going to set a variable here. Go to variables and text and select set or change a variable, and I'm going to set player animation to idle. So what we have created is a variable with a value of idle. Copy this player animation here, click OK, and now add another behavior with the behavior triggered by events, and every few seconds do something. Change the interval milliseconds to 1. Go to action, create a new action, variables and text. If a variable has a value, do something, and copy paste player animation here. If player animation is equal to idle, then hide or unhide a scene node. Make visible the idle animation, else hide or unhide a scene node, make invisible the idle animation. We are going to do the same thing for the rest of 5 animation, which is run, jump, crouch, climb and hurt. So to do that, click this plus button here, variables and text. If a variable has a value, do something. Paste your variable name here, which is player animation. Why I'm copy pasting this player animation here instead of typing is because sometimes we have to add so many actions with so many variables So if you type all these variable names, then there are chances that you will make a typing mistake or something. Then it will be very difficult to debug the applications if an error occurred. So always create your variable first, then copy the first variable and use that instead of typing. And this will be run, and change the action to hide or unhide a scene node. Select make visible, select the run scene node, click OK. Else hide or unhide a scene node, make invisible, select run again, click OK. Let me quickly just do this for all the scene node. The variable has a value, player animation, jump, then hide or unhide a scene node, make visible, jump, hide or unhide a scene node, make invisible, like jump. If a variable has a value, do something. Player animation is equal to crouch, and hide or unhide a scene node, make visible, select crouch, else hide or unhide a scene node, make invisible, select crouch again. A variable has a value, then do something. Player animation is equal to climb, then hide or unhide a scene node, make visible, climb, okay, and make invisible, climb. It might take some time, but you have to do it. So this will be for the last animation, which is hurt, and make hurt scene node visible, and then make it invisible. So what these variables will do is, when we trigger these variables with the movement keys, then it will automatically show the correct animation with the correct movement. So it will assign animation to the player movement. So now go to player, click this plus button, behavior triggered by event. When a key is pressed, do something, select the left key, and action, set or change a variable, change the player animation to run, click OK. Add another behavior with the when a key is pressed, do something, select right this time, and use the action to set the variable player animation, use run as the player animation value, click OK. And now if I click this play button, So our character is in idle mode now, but as soon as I press the movement key, it switches the animation to run. But we want our character to go back to idle animation if we release the key. So to do that, just create another behavior with when a key is pressed to something, select left key. Instead of this key press down key event, we are going to use key left up, and action, variables and text, set or change variable, player animation to idle. We are going to change this in the future videos because this is not the perfect solution, but you can use it for now. Add the same behavior for the right key as well. Select right key, key left up, and choose action, which is set or change variable, player animation to idle. And I'm going to add another key pressed behavior for the jump, which is space, variables and text, set or change variable, player animation to jump. And another, when a key is pressed to something, space, set or change variable, player animation to idle, and key press down to key left up. All right. Okay. So if we publish our game, then you will notice that our character is switching animation perfectly. If I press the left key, then it is running. If I press the right key, it is running. And if I release any of these keys, then the character is switching back to original animation. But there is still an issue, which is if I press the jump key, then our character is jumping and switching the animation. But as soon as I release the jump key, the character is switching the idle animation, which is not ideal for this condition. So that's all for today's video. In the next video, we will be creating some more platforms for our character to move, and we'll add a camera follow to our player, and we'll fix the animation switching issue for our player movement. If you want to see more videos like this, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also press the notification bell icon to receive notifications for future videos. Thank you for watching.